1 hour for Caitlin Clark's return to Carver Hawkeye Arena to be sold out. Tickets went on sale at 9 this morning.
Caitlin Clark doesn't just move the needle, she is the needle.
Did you notice what just transpired? More quickly than Angel Reese could have predicted, the Indiana Fever just sold out 15,000 tickets for a preseason game.
One person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
Additionally, they're playing the Brazilian women's national team, a team with as many well-known players as Timothy Chalamet, rather than LeBron James, Steph Curry, or even the Utah Jazz. We're talking about numbers so high that you'd need Bill Belichick to become your sugar daddy, because she's in it for his personality, folks. The Oscars want to resell tickets, so you better start going through your couch cushions or selling a kidney, because prices are skyrocketing into the thousands. It's gotten so crazy that Mr. Beast, my YouTube overlord, who distributes money like oxygen, is on X pleading for a seat. That's the level of madness we're dealing with here on May 4th, 2025, at Carver Hawkeye Arena in Iowa City. The Fever will play Brazil at Clark's former college stomping grounds in a match that is more about a coronation than hoops. The 15,500-seat venue hasn't witnessed this type of fervor since 1968. If you're sitting there smugly muttering, "Oh, I saw this coming from a mile away," you must be the proud owner of a DeLorean time machine with a dog-eared copy of the sports almanac stashed in the glove box. If you're thinking that this is just fans realizing how amazing the WNBA has always been, like Trump realizing that his world has been a lie for 30 years, then shut your ears, because I have some shattering information about Santa Claus that he's not real, and that a WNBA preseason game sold out 15,000 seats. 2 years ago, in fact, any WNBA game selling more than 15,000 seats was about as likely as Kanye West tweeting something that won't make his publicist quit. But then Caitlin Clark strutted in slicing through records like a fruit ninja with watermelons, and now here we are, 15,000 seats gone, haters weeping, and the Fever laughing all the way to the bank now. Let's rewind the tape a sec. This preseason sellout isn't some random fluke. No, this is the natural encore to Caitlin Clark's rookie season, where she didn't just play basketball, she turned the WNBA into a cultural juggernaut. The numbers, oh, they're spicy. In her first season, the Fever racked up over 340,000 total home attendees across 18 games. That's an average of more than 177,000 fans per night, the highest in WNBA history. Before Clark rolled into town, they were lucky to get 4,000 people to show up on the road. She drew crowds like she was handing out free iPhones. Over 20,000 fans packed the stands in DC to watch her bless the Mystics with her presence, a record for a single game that's not a basketball game, that's a rock concert with better cardio. Fever games alone accounted for 45% of the league's broadcast value, and her games averaged 1.2 million viewers, a 100% increase over games without her. She didn't just bring casual fans to the table, she converted them into diehards and forced them to purchase the jersey. Speaking of jerseys, Fever gear, Clark's number 22 sold more than the rotisserie chickens in Costco's back, which you know they place back there, so you have to go through the entire store, and sales increased by 1,200% year over year. Economically, local businesses close to Gainbridge had a 265% increase in ticket sales for the Fever. Fieldhouse, who is a one-woman economic stimulus program and not a player, claimed a 25% increase in sales on game days, and the WNBA is cashing in. Since her stat line is a masterpiece that Picasso would be proud of, let's examine it. Clark smashed the WNBA record most assists in a season and points by a guard. Yet some idiots continue to claim she isn't the league's greatest point guard despite her 19.2 points and 8.4 assists per game average, which earned her the title of Runaway Rookie of the Year. However, the vibe is more important than the numbers. Your uncle, who only watches baseball highlights on ESPN, is now texting you about women's hoops because Clark made the team you would politely applaud into a must-see event. The WNBA went from YMCA Rec League demand to selling out NBA venues, and this 15,000-seat preseason sellout is just the icing on the cake. She's the reason you're watching games at the bar rather than merely watching the highlights on airport TVs, most likely during CNN. Caitlin Clark, everyone wants a piece on this delicious sundae, with the exception of those who suffer from irritable bowel syndrome and are lactose intolerant. The instant they hear Caitlin's name. Now, let's discuss the clowns in the peanut gallery. The jerks, liars, and rage baiters who have been yelling into thin air since day one. You know, the people who would sooner die on a hill of insults than acknowledge they're mistaken in their major argument. Caitlin Clark's success isn't due to her smooth jumper or her skillful hustle. Others refer to her as transitory buzz, as if she's a one-hit wonder who would fade more quickly than that Korean dude who did gang. Hers about race. Some claim she's only popular because she's white waving the privilege flag like it's a get-out-of-logic free card. The Nom style put his name in the nostalgia comments section. Let's start by dissecting this garbage fire. The race argument is as tenuous as a wet paper towel in a tornado. Are they claiming that 15,000 fans paid thousands of dollars to see her because of her skin tone rather than because she's making three figures and dropping dimes like it's her day job? Let's also talk about the NCAA, because her resume there makes Iowa laugh. She broke Pete Maravich's record like it was a piñata at a kid's party, became the all-time leading scorer in Division I history, set the single-season record for three-pointers, and became the first player to lead the country in both points and assists in the same year twice. According to the statistics, Clark scored 49 points in a single game against Michigan, which is not privilege but dominance. She also contributed 26.5% of the WNBA's 2024 attendance. The player is so amazing that she has casual spectators who don't know a pick and roll from a dinner roll paying attention, and the numbers make you laugh out loud, a 170% viewership. Spike is a freaking tsunami, not a fluke. The NBA became a destination rather than background noise for your dentist's waiting room because her games didn't simply draw viewers, they kept them coming back week after week. The critics portray her as some flashy gimmick, yet 1,200% merchandise growth indicates that you don't just quadruple attendance and rewrite record books as a publicity stunt. Rather, you do it because you're a generational. Clark's 19.2 points and 8.4 assists in 2024 outperformed all other rookies, according to Talent. Swoop. The best part is that their world is collapsing more quickly than a Vegas marriage, even though Angel Reese didn't even score 14 points each game. Marketing doesn't match 12-23's skill. They're out here drinking Haterade while Clark is rewriting the script, and the plot twist is a doozy. She's not going anywhere, so what happens when you drop a supernova like Caitlin Clark into a league that's been struggling? You get a glow-up so epic that the cast of Queer Eye would be envious. Every sold-out game, every jaw-dropping statistic, and every desperate plea from Mr. Beast is another nail in the coffin of their sad little narrative. The WNBA is racing toward a new age and isn't simply following in her footsteps. The signs are all over the place. Display of this preseason sellout of 15,000 seats against Brazil isn't a cultural flex game. It's so loud that it's shaking the rafters, but it's more than just one night. The league is going above and beyond to accommodate her fever games, which are being moved to NBA arenas because their regular venues can't accommodate the crowds in 2025. The Atlanta Dream moved to State Farm Arena. The Chicago Sky moved their intense games to the United Center, which is twice as big as Winchester Arena and cannot even sell out game in and game out. The Washington Mystics are also upgrading. In addition to breaking seating charts and ankles, Clark's charisma has NBA-sized stadiums bending to her. Then there's the NBA All-Star Three-Point Challenge. Fiasco. Picture this: the NBA is hyping up their big mid-season shindig in 2025, and they invite Clark to flex her long-range game. She says, "Nah, I'm good." And what do? They cancel it. The NBA, yes, the $12 billion do Big Brother scrapped an event because a WNBA sophomore didn't feel like showing up. That's not influence, that's straight-up domination. She's got the league's puppet strings in one hand and a basketball in the other. Oh, and the Fever, they're not messing around in the 2025 free agency and trade period. They went full Avengers Assemble mode. They snagged Dananna Boner, a two-time WNBA champion and six-time All-Star, who's averaged 14.9 points and 6.1 rebounds over her 15-year career. Then they added Natasha Howard, a three-time champ, whose defensive grit could make opponents cry uncle. They also traded for Sophie Cunningham, a sharpshooting wing with enough toughness to stare down a Grizzly. Pair them with Aaliyah Boston, 2023 wins Rookie of the Year, and their roster is more war machine than team. Clark's versatility and ability to score goals allow him to fling no-look passes for simple baskets. More offensive opportunities in transition that would have typically been baskets for the opponent will be created by Howard's lockdown defense. According to pundits, this lineup might turn the Fever into a playoff danger because Cunningham's shooting will stretch defenses and allow Clark to carve up the floor like a Thanksgiving turkey. The WNBA is on the verge of a $200 million per year TV deal that will begin in 2026, which is a huge increase from the $60 million they were barely making. This money, which was fueled in large part by Clark's 45% share of 2024's broadcast value, will fund a new CBA, with player salaries rising from an average of $120,000 to possibly $300,000 plus. The league is also leaving its poverty era, and it's all thanks to Caitlin Clark, who transformed it from a charity case into a self-sustaining powerhouse. NBA for spare change. Similar to Hillary Banks' father, I required $200. Okay, haters, it's time for a reality check. I like to refer to this as the hater apocalypse because the evidence is more stacked than a hoarder's garage. NBA venues are bowing to her crowds, a TV agreement is set to make it rain, and 15,000 preseason tickets have been sold out, accounting for 26.5% of the league's GDP. What do you do now, salty? Caitlin Clark is more than simply a player. She is the WNBA savior. To dispute that would be like arguing that the sun is hot or that pizza with pineapple is a crime against humanity. Skeptic step 1. Quit talking. You're as exhausted as a rerun of Friends on basic cable. Step 2. Purchase a ticket. Step 3. Admit you were wrong. It won't kill you, I promise, even though it might hurt more than stepping on a Lego in the dark. No one is saying you can't be tough on Caitlin for her play, but keep it objective and don't let this moment of transformation get lost in your fixation over who gets credit. Join the 17,000 fans packing stands or the millions watching at home. With Clark as the MVP favorite and 2025 looking to be her coronation, the WNBA is stronger, richer, and more electrifying. If she wins one or both, the haters will run out of ammunition, but if you're still here, you can be sure they'll sneak off to complain about something else by F. Say hello and thank you for watching by leaving a basketball emoji in the comments section.